Hello guys, my name is Dong Tan and this is our Group 3 fourth presentation. Our Group 3 members are Nguyễn Hội Dung, Nông Trần Gia Hy and Nguyễn Văn Tuấn Thành, which is me. So firstly, I'll be discussing about Chapter 16, Monopolistic Competition. Get to question 7. Question for review. Explain two benefits that might arise from the existence of brand names. So this is our answers. Benefits of brand names are the following. Customers are much more likely to remember your company and products. This leads to recognition and loyalty. Firms have an incentive to maintain the high quality of their products because maintaining the brand name is critically important for the financial well-being of the firm. Next to question 1, preference and applications. Among monopoly, oligopoly, monopolistic competition, and perfect competition, how would you classify the markets for each of the following drinks? A. Tap water. B. Bottled water. C. Cola. D. Beer. So this is our answers. A. Tap water has a monopoly market because the owner of the tap has the monopoly to use tap water, and if the owner wants to sell the water, a price of his or her choice will be charged. B. Bottled water is a monopolistically competitive market. There are many sellers of bottled water, but each firm tries to differentiate its own brand from the rest. C. The cola market is an oligopoly because there are only a few firms that control a large portion of the market. Same for D. So the beer market is also an oligopoly.
Hi, welcome to chapter 17, which is called Oligopoly. Now come to the first questions. Question 1 in question for review. If a group of sellers could form a cattle, what quantities and price would they try to set? So when forming a cattle, the group of sellers will try to set equilibrium price of the market, and they set equilibrium quantities of the market, and also quantities of supply must be split equally between sellers. And from that, all sellers in the cattle will benefit the same. Now, next question is question 9 from problems and applications. Little Kona is a small coffee company that is considering entering a market dominated by big brews. Each company profit depends on whether Little Kona enters and whether Big Brew sets a high price or a low price. As you can see here. A. Does either player in this game have a dominant strategies? So let's back to the definitions. Dominant strategy is the strategy that is best for a player in a game, regardless of the strategies have chosen by other players. So as you can see for Big Brew, if Little Kona enter, it will be better for Big Brew to set high price because 3 million, as you can see here, 3 million is better than 1 million. Yeah, and if Little Kona don't enter, it will still set high price because 7 million is better than 2. And for Little Kona, if Big Brew set high price, Little Kona should enter because it can make $2 million. And if Big Brew set low price, then Little Kona should not enter the market because if it enter, it will lose $1 million. So, which means that only Big Brew has a dominant strategies, which is high price, because whether Little Kona enter the market or not, Big Brews still benefit higher with a high price. Yeah, so next questions. Does your answer to part A help you figure out what the other player should do? My answer is yes. From part A, we know that Big Brew has a dominant strategies, which is high price, and Little Kona has no dominant strategies. So, which means that it will be better for Little Kona to enter the market because from doing that, Little Kona can make $2 million better than all of the other one, better than making zero, right? So for the next questions, what is the NAS equilibrium, and is there only one? As you can see here, the NAS equilibrium is Little Kona enter the market and Big Brew set high price, because for Big Brew, it will be better for Big Brew to set high price in many different situations, and so for Big Brew, it will set high price, and for Little Kona, when Big Brew set high price, it only benefit when it's enter the market. Since from doing that, it will make $2 million. So yeah, that is the NAS equilibrium, and there's only one NAS equilibrium in this situation. Next questions. Big Brew threatened Little Kona by saying that if you enter, we're going to set a low price, so you had better stay out. Do you think Little Kona should believe the threat, and why or why not? In my opinion, Little Kona should not believe this threat, because as you can see that Big Brew's dominant strategy is setting high price, and if whether the Little Kona enter or not, it will still set high price, so it will be still better for Little Kona to enter. Now let's come to the next questions. If the two firms could conclude and agree on how to split the total profit, what outcome would they pick? So in my opinions, this is what they should pick. Little Kona should not enter the market, and Big Brew should set high price. Why? I've made a few maths here. This is the profits that each company receive after they split the total profit, and these are the Big Brew high price strategies. Because as you can see that if Big Brew set low price, they will benefit more smaller. So in this questions, I only calculate the high price numbers. So as you can see here, if Big Brew set high price and Little Kona choose to enter the market, Brew makes 3 million, Kona make 2 million, so that will be 5 in total. And if you divide 5, you divided 5 by 2, so that will be 2.5. And for the next one, if Big Brew set high price and Little Kona don't enter the market, Brew will make $7 million and Kona make 0. So that means that the total profits will be 7, and if 7 is divided by 2, that will be 3.5 for each company. So as you can see that 3.5 is much bigger than 2.5. So this means that Little Kona should not enter the market, and Big Brew must set high price so that both of them could earn more profit.
Hello, I am the last speaker of Group 3, and now I will continue our presentation with Part 5, Consumer Choice, and this is Chapter 21, the Theory of Consumer Choice. Now let's move to the 2 questions. Question 1. In question for review, a consumer has income of $3,000. Y costs $3 per glass and cheese costs $6 per pound. Draw the consumer's budget constraint with Y on the vertical axis. What is the slope of this budget constraint? Here's the consumer's budget constraint of wine and cheese. The vertical axis illustrates how many glasses of wine the consumer could buy. With the income of $3,000 and wine costs $3 per glass, the consumer could buy 1,000 glasses of wine, which is 3,000 divided 3. The horizontal axis illustrates how many pounds of cheese the consumer could buy. With the income of $3,000 and cheese costs $6 per pound, the consumer could buy 500 pounds of cheese. With the vertical axis of wine and horizontal axis of cheese, the slope of this budget constraint is negative 1,000 divided 500 equal negative 2. Now let's move to question 9 in problem and application. Anya is awake for 100 hours per week. Using one diagram, show Anya's budget constraints if she earns $12 per hour, $16 per hour, and $20 per hour. Now draw indifference curves such that India's labor supply curve is upward sloping when the wage is between $12 and $16 per hour, and backward sloping when the wage is between $16 and $20 per hour. So this is the indifference curves with the x-axis is the hours of leisure and the y-axis is the consumption, which is hours times money. So we got 1,200 here, 1,600 and 2,000. The more money she earned, the less leisure time she get. So you can see here as the graph shown. And annual labor supply is between the price of the salary, which is wage, and hour supply, which is leisure. First, we got a wage at 12 and hire a 16 and then 20. So this is when annual labor supply is upward sloping. On the other hand, instead of working more, she started to working less in order to get more break time. And conversely to the previous curve, this one is backward sloping. So this is the end of our presentation. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.